Yo, so you already know what the fuck time it is. It's for my main nigga Leonard. This the motherfucking nigga. It's the main event. My nigga Leonard Charles Oats. Nigga, you better act like you motherfucking know. Okay. Um. So for you, because you have a certain understanding, like I told you, I'm gonna record other videos and stuff and put them on YouTube. Or shit, I could just send links to certain shit that people need to understand for like the basic, because that way I can spend more time, you know what I'm saying, talking about what's going on than, spending time explaining, basic things. Certain shit, of course, I'm gonna explain, but certain shit is like can be explained in other videos and shit like that. But yeah, bro, shit. Shit. So where we start? Now, of course, you know about your sun, moon, ascendant. You know the planets and shit that this shit is in. So with you, I'ma definitely focus on the deeper details and the aspects and shit in the houses and shit like that. And we're gonna focus on the planets too as well, of course. But the aspects between the planets and the houses and how these feed into each other and how these shape and affect each other. So Pete, you come down here and look, you know what I'm saying? So dealing with you as far as the elements are concerned, of course you already know you got a lot of water. Your main three is in water. You know what I'm saying? The main three, the sun, moon, and ascendant. Them is in water and shit like that. But you know what I'm saying? You got, these generational planets in Earth. You got a little bit of Earth. You got some air planets. So Mercury, that's a strong thing. Then you got Chiron, but Chiron, you got planets in air that kind of take longer. So you'll see, you know what I'm saying, going off of the watery emotion of the, and there ain't nothing wrong with being watery, because one thing that I see with you, bro, is that the main thing, one of the things that I see in your chart is how it's like a, it's like a fucking, what's the word I want to look for? It's like a fucking, it's like a, it's it's like a cause and effect. It's like a going back and forth to where your actions and your intentions being put out in a certain way, and they get misunderstood or misinterpreted, and then that then therefore shapes other people's actions and shit towards you. You internalize, and then now this makes you, and it goes forward, and it's like a cycle, because I see like in your chart to where your intentions and your actions don't always line up the best way in how they come out amongst other people, and that and in your efforts sometimes, you know what I'm saying, like other people don't don't really get it, bro. It's misunderstood. But I feel like Scorpio is also, a very misunderstood energy in the zodiac. So you know what I'm saying. But yeah, okay, because I'm chaotic, so sometimes it'll be over the place, but that's because it's not just one thing. Like, we can sit here and pinpoint everything, but everything is feeding into each other and going back and relating and shaping off of each other. And this is just from when you was born. So, it's like, go forward into progress readings and all of that shit, synastry, like we gonna get into it. But yeah, so, and then you got fire amongst your inner planets, and your midheaven is fire. And then you see you got a good amount of mutable, and some you gotta, so you kind of balance as far as your mutable and fix your cardinal, you got Mercury in cardinal, so that's a good thing for cardinal, you know what I'm saying? So you got some of them, but again, your cardinal leadership abilities is one of those things that with Chiron and the North Node here will come over time. You do got Uranus and Neptune, but that's more generational. And you got Lilith and motherfucking Cancer and shit like that, and we gonna talk about that too. But yeah, you got the Sun, Pluto, and Ascendant, and your midheaven and fixed sign. So that's good fixed quality. You know what I'm saying? A good amount of fixed quality. It's just like we say, it's really about understanding and breaking these things down and seeing how they correlate and how they can help you to today. But yeah, bro. First off, of course, where do we start off? We start off with the Sun in Scorpio. Now you know about Scorpio. They'll call Del blah blah blah. Sex, taboo. The underworld. It can also be jealousy. It can also be control, power dynamics, being ruled by Pluto. All of that, right? You already know all of that. But your 12th house being your sun being in the 12th house, and also your Mercury being in the 12th house. Now the 12th house is the house of that rules over Pisces. So with that being in the 12th house, that's really, I think that's a big part of the reason why. First off, let me just say, 12th house, Sun, Mercury, and you got Saturn and your Moon in Pisces. So you see, you know what I'm saying, you got a lot more Piscean energy. You know what I'm saying? And then with your Mercury, not conjunct, squaring Neptune, you know what I'm saying? That's a thing in itself, and we're gonna talk about that too. But yeah, so Sun and in the 12th house in Scorpio. So one thing I can say about you, and I feel like this again could play off of that Neptune in the second house. It is a bit of generosity here. It is a certain level of generosity here because the 12th house also has to do with giving back, you know, that Piscean energy. You know what I'm saying? But and then the 12th house could also represent spirituality and, like, you know what I'm saying, trusting yourself is Pisces. Like, you know, you go into the end of the cycle and it's basically like, you know, what is life about anyways? But with the sun being in the 12th house also, that can also have to do with illusionary and being in the illusionment of certain things. Or sometimes, you know, some people may think that you could be too dreamy, too mystic, or too not grounded, basically. And it's just like, you know, the sun in the 12th house, it kind of is one of the things like, well, you talking about being grounded, what the fuck is reality? You know what I'm saying? But hey man, I'm with you, because I'm on that dreamer shit. But at the same time, you do got certain energies in certain places, but it's just, again, it's just like the funnel. Now, of course, you know what I'm saying, you are a Scorpio ascendant. So again, that's your ascendant being in Scorpio. You got the Mercury is not in Scorpio, the Mercury is in Libra, but the Mercury is still in the 12th house. And then you got your, like I said, you got the ascendant in Scorpio with kind of a weaker, and by weaker meaning like it's not super tight, but still you got Scorpio conjuncting your ascendant to a certain extent. You really got Scorpio conjunct Venus. Now a conjunction, now that's what we're gonna stop real quick and explain real quick. Do I have but I could just explain it. I probably could pull up a picture, but I probably could just explain it to you. So when it comes to aspects, and this is major aspects, because, you know, in future, you know, we'll get into the other aspects and shit right now, but we're gonna focus on the major aspects being conjunctions, sextiles, trines, oppositions, and squares. Now, we could start with conjunction. Conjunction and opposition can be neutral, more so sometimes than others. And one thing that we need to understand, or is to be understood about aspects in astrology, is that just because something may have what is considered to be a beneficial aspect, meaning that the energy is free flowing, like you see these blue lines and then you see these red lines, it's kind of showing that, like, now sometimes the red, that's a conjunction right there, that don't necessarily mean a bad thing when it's like that. But you know what I'm saying, the blue line, because it's like you got your sun trine Saturn. So a trine is 120 degrees. So, okay, shit, we gonna start with a trine then. Or I was starting with conjunction. So with a conjunction, you got two energies, and it's basically think like them two energies going holding hands. And as far as aspects, you know, especially with the bigger aspects like oppositions and trines and sometimes squares, the degrees, because, you know, it's not going to always be based off of the exact degrees. So a conjunction is basically would be within 8 degrees of being close to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like 8 to, you know, 10 is very, you know, is loose. And then beyond that, it's like, it's kind of like you could be in the same sign, you could even still be in the same house. But the analogy I thought of today was like, it wouldn't necessarily be conjunct. Just for example, right here, you got your north node in the same sign and house as Chiron, but this is at 26 degrees and this is at 7 degrees. So these are not conjunct, even though like these right here, these is damn near conjunct. You know, this is definitely conjunct. This is kind of a, like I said, that's 9 degrees apart. This being at 0, this being at 9. It's kind of a weaker conjunction, but still a conjunction nonetheless. This is a conjunction. This is a conjunction. This is a 9 degrees, so pretty much a weaker, but it's not, but it's still a conjunction, because the closer, the tighter. So like that Pluto, nigga, that's right on point. That's only 1 degree apart. So, nigga, that's right on the money, as far as a conjunction is concerned. But yeah, so these is being in the same house, and the analogy that I was thinking of earlier was like let's say you go to the grocery store, and it could be a person that was in the grocery store. They might have got there right before, right after. They could have got there around the same time that you got there. But y'all whole time in travel in the store, y'all don't come across each other. But at the same time, y'all are both in the same similar space and time, and y'all share that experience in that space and time with each other, because everything is still connected. But it's not like where these, it's like, okay, nigga, we going to the store together. You see how these motherfuckers holding hands. These motherfuckers, these motherfuckers is in a relationship. Like, this ain't just, this right here is just like you went to the store, you saw your guy, it was like, oh, he was already in the store, and then it's just like, because you see that's 9 degrees different. So he's like, oh, okay, well, fuck it, let's, and then it's being Mars, like taking the action in Venus, like, okay, fuck it, we here together, like, fuck it, it needs, it's like, met up, this right here, this like, kind of like your cousin, you know what I'm saying? Because it's 3 degrees, so that's kind of tight. You probably went to the store with your cousin. Like I said, this your lover. This you went to the store with bae type shit. And even bae could be your motherfucking self. That's then another aspect of yourself. However you want to look at it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way to think about a conjunction. You know what I'm saying? Like within 8 degrees, like, and all of them, like the energies that would be within. So the tighter it gets to from 8 degrees for the shape, or for the degree of the aspect, you know what I'm saying, the tighter it get from there, and beyond that it's kind of a weaker, and then it will go into other minor aspects. But like I said, we're focused on the major right now. But yeah, so that is a conjunction. So now you have a sextile, and what a sextile is a 60 degree. So this right here, you got Pluto sextile Uranus and Neptune. Bro, Pluto sextile. Yeah, this would be a sextile. If you got this at the end, that's pretty much, yeah. And even though it's in signs to where it would generally, because a sextile would generally work like this. So this is another, trick to look at the houses, or the elements and shit like that. Because, it's like the elements, it break down into the signs and the modalities and all that shit. But one of the ways you can think about it is, what was it? Wildfire and muddy waters. So air and fire, masculine energy, will work better with each other, and water and earth will work better with each other. So these are 60 degrees, 2 signs, 2 houses, 60 degrees, 30 degrees to 60 degrees apart, so 2 over, and you'll get to so masculine, feminine, masculine. So okay, masculine, feminine with feminine, as far as in that aspect is concerned. So the sextile is a beneficial aspect, and it's one to where, like, basically if worked upon, you'll definitely get fruits. Like, some people consider this to be the most beneficiary, because sometimes with a trine, like they say, depending on how tight the trine is, the next one we go into, and that's just super free flowing. So that's just, like, it just flow without you don't even got to try it. With a sextile, it's there, but you got to kind of look a little deep. You don't got to go that hard, but you got to put some effort to it. So that's what a sextile would be. Now a trine, like I said, you got the sun in a weak trine to Saturn, meaning you see how this at 10 degrees, this at 18 degrees. Now you see that, normally, now the degrees could be, a little bit different to where it would shift to another, but normally when you're trine, it's going to always be in the same sign, the same element. So you got your sun in a weaker, because like I said, see that 18, 10 in a weaker trine to Saturn, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so a trine is 120 degrees apart from each other. And like I said, a trine is free flowing, you don't gotta work. Sextile 60 degrees, so you see sextile is half of a trine as far as the degrees is concerned. A square. A square is a 90-degree angle. And a square would usually be in the same modality, mutable. So this, you got these two squaring your Saturn. Your Saturn is getting hit by a lot of shit. We're gonna talk about that too. In the 4th house, boy, we talking about childhood upbringing, and we're talking about certain responsibilities and views and actions that was forced upon you, and you internalize that because you taking on Sagittarius, nigga. You taking on the actions. Look at Mars and Jupiter. I know I'm jumping ahead of myself, but you see how it just pop out. You taking on the actions, and motherfuckers is forcing their beliefs and shit upon you, and that shit ain't right. And then your shit was in retrograde, so you more internalizing that, and you creating fears from other people's shit that had nothing to fucking do with your original shit that you knew anyways. That had nothing to do with you. The motherfuckers was forcing their shit upon you. And you internalized that, and now you created this emotional cycle of now force feeding this emotion because that's how you learn to go and cope with life. And now you have an attachment to it because it's like, that's what the fuck you know. It's like, oh no, that's what I'm saying. Like, doing your chart is like really help me understand you more, bro. It's like, damn, bro. Like, it's like, and it'll be like that for everybody. It's like, this the shit to where, of course, you hold motherfuckers accountable. We realize we create our own reality. We realize we got certain karmas, this, that, and the motherfucking third. But at the same time, nigga, it's like, damn, like, and that's in your childhood. But yeah, okay. So a square, you look at me. A square is, again, like I said, 90 degrees apart, and it's gonna be in the same modality, but you see how it's two elements that on, fire and water. It's like, you put water on fire, sometimes if you don't put enough on it, it's just gonna make the fire, grow. But if you do, then the fire can't, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, so a square is thought to be the most challenging aspect, because if you think about a square, you could be on a different end of the spectrum. They could be on this point and you could be, over here, and you got two lines in between rather than a trine or something where you could just boop, 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 go straight to it, straight through it, straightening. I mean, that's your song, straightening. Look, because I try to channel a song or just have a song come through. Oh my goodness, Leonard, that's your song, Straightening by the Migos. And just listen, because I told you, ooh, we on scale, we on the Migo, we on set, let's roll. What do you say? Yeah, take, let's roll. Nothing gets straightened if you don't straighten it. Nigga, don't none of your emotional well-being and you, because what, another thing that I'm seeing, my nigga, in your chart, at the same time, things were forced to you. You are a powerful being. You are of an older age now. Now the shit that's going on is shit that you are creating by your views on your self-worth. So I really, one of the things I really suggest is some true self-care. Like really looking at what the fuck do you truly value? Because again, these things manifested, if this being on your ascendant Pluto, on your physical body. Nigga, that's you know what I'm saying? And we all know we do it for us. We all got different reasons. Of course, you probably like your time. But that's where, other than the sun just already being in Scorpio, but your first house, you know what I'm saying? The changes in the, and then you got Pluto at 29 degrees, which is a critical degree. It is a generational planet, but that is 29 degrees, very critical. So it's just like, change and all that type of shit to your appearance and shit like that, and putting on a certain exterior to protect yourself from certain things, because it's just like, no, but then at the same time, you having this Chiron and Libra ruling relationships and shit like that. It's like, you want to help people, you want to be on this, but at the same time, my nigga, But yeah, don't nothing get straight if you don't straight it. Nigga. You need to be listening to that song and channeling the messages. Even though they talk about bullshit, it's still spiritual messages in the bullshit, bro. Everything is spiritual in some way, form, shape, or fucking fashion. Back to it though. So we was talking about squares. So like I said, squares. Now this is a weak, right? And this might even, but this could kind of be, this is a weak ass opposition. Like I said, this like 13 degrees, but for the larger one. So this would be a weak, but basically an opposition. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is like sometimes it, you know, things are on two ends of the spectrum. But with oppositions though, everything is about polarity. So we know, you know, even with the houses, even with the signs, that, you know, they work off of oppositions. Cause Pete, your son being in motherfucking Scorpio, right? Your son being in Scorpio, so at the same time, even though your son is in Scorpio, Scorpio in Taurus has a polarity. Scorpio is the seeds that you plant in the soil. Taurus is what grows from the soil. So one of your big, your sun, your inner light, your focus is going to be about psychology and the deeper aspects, but your self-worth. So you see how these polarities, so that's how opposition work, because normally, depending on the orb, it usually 90-something% of the time is going to be in the sign that's directly across. It may be a loose orb to where you got something that's at, you know, 0 degree or 1, 2, 3 degrees, and then it's at like 29 degrees of the last shit and it didn't cross over. You get what I'm saying? But usually it's going to be in the sign that's supposed to be across the motherfucking street. So yeah, so with the opposition, like I said, it can be the push and pull, but at the same time, you know, if you think about it, you think about the scales and it's going back and forth eventually when you find balance. And that's what this shit is about, bro. You're not having these aspects just to have, oh, a motherfucking rough ass aspect and just blah, blah, blah. No. These are things to learn. This is an incarnation to come to this school of earth and motherfucking learn what the fuck is going on in this bitch, right? Okay, so we're gonna get into some shit. Now, I'm gonna start reading off of some of these notes I took down. So, the moon, I see the moon got a lot of, so you already know, moon, mother. We know these things. It's a representation of the mother. Also the internal aspect, the internal feeling. You having that moon and Pisces, that's emotional receptivity, bro. That's intuitive. Pisces is considered to be the most intuitive sign. You know, it's the last sign of the zodiac, nigga. It's going back to spirit before you manifest in the physical again. It's the transformation. You know what I'm saying? If Aries is the self in here, Pisces done went through the whole shit, and it's just like okay. It's like the spiritual collector of the zodiac. Some people call it the spiritual garbage can, but you know how, you know, depending on people's sensibility of the word, I get what they mean. It's not like you know, let's say if you collecting motherfucking jewels in this garbage can, it don't always gotta be trash. You could put anything in a garbage can. You could have garbage cans filled with money. Yeah. But yeah, with the moon being there, but it's in the 4th house. Emotional receptivity. You were a very expansive Uranian in your ways of communicating, but with this square being here, people did not always receive 12th house energy, still having to do this sector, this quadrant, still having to do with other folks in them. And then let me give you another lesson too. Let me find that page real quick, because I was just looking at what's called the quadrants. So just so you have another higher understanding. And again, I'm going to record a video with this. But Pete, so in astrology too, another way to look at it is you have the Eastern and Western hemisphere. So the Eastern hemisphere is comprised of the last 3 houses and the first 3 houses. So your shit is damn near all in the Eastern hemisphere. The Eastern hemisphere, and it said when majority of the planets are here, the native is generally self-motivated, initiating, action-oriented, and self-assertive, tends to believe strongly in free will. And then the Western hemisphere hemisphere, houses 4 through 9, tends to be others oriented and receptive. The needs of others are considered before action. These people are thought to be more in the hands of fate. But at the same time, you see how you have the houses of community in your Eastern Hemisphere. So you know me, I got a Libra ascendant, you got a Scorpio ascendant. So it's still kind of, because Scorpio is the 8th, so you know that's here, but it's still like you got the kind of signs on the opposite end of the spectrum as far as your shit is concerned. That's not a bad thing. Again, we doing this shit to bring back the polarity of balance, right? Because in Vedic astrology, which is just as accurate, bro, it's just like my analogy from tropical or western to Vedic is just like shifting the key of a song. I just noticed you got a 444 at the 44 minutes and 4 seconds in your Scorpio sun, but it's like, you know, after the 10 degrees with the 44. But yeah, it's like the tropical and Vedic. If you shift it, you know what I'm saying, you would just as much be a Libra. I could see you being a Libra. What? Okay, now these planets were down there being Scorpio, but you still got heavy Scorpio energy, and it's just like, and then you will be a Libra ascendant and shit like that. So, man, and it would make sense because it's just like shifting the key to a song. It's like, even though you're in another scale, the distance between the notes and the relationships and that shit doesn't change. So, but yeah, so, so I said, yep, that's it. Now the northern hemisphere, so that's 1 through 6. This is the personal and subjective portion of the chart. These houses rule areas of life that directly impact the development of our personalities and help shape our individual identities. People with a preponderance of planets here tend to be private and more subjective. And then the southern hemisphere is the upper half. And you kind of got, but you definitely got in the bottom. But the upper half, but look, you got Sun and Mercury and North Node up here. So it's just like upper half. This is the social, objective, and collective portion. People with majority of planets here tend to be more objective, sociable, and concerned with outside events, right? Okay. And this is what I really came here for. I'm gonna explain the quadrants to you real quick. Now I'm giving you these just so you understand, like you could just break it down and you can see your shit in sections, and like when you, of course, it's like, it's about the totality, but when you understand the working components more, you will understand the whole totality of the chart more, right? So the first quadrant is houses 1, 2, and 3, which is personal identity. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, personal identity. The self, I am. The bull, I'm here. You know what I'm saying? The earth aspect, I'm here. The twins, like, you know, I can, in the bull, I have. And now it's like, now I'm communicating, I'm sharing. So that's the first, the personal identity. Now, 4, 5, 6, personal expression. Now you got Cancers, the love, the nurturing aspect, now that you've built a certain small community. And then the 5 being the, okay, now the building aspect of the social, of the shine, the stage, like the building of being seen, and the intention. And then the Virgo is going into, you know, the details of everything, the physical body, the thinking, the sacrifice, the, you know, these type of things. The Virgo being the virgin, which is the sacrifice, you know what I'm saying? So personal expression, 4, 5, 6. Social identity, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, boom. Libras, when you first get into like, okay, with the back and forth, the relationship aspect, the business partnership aspect. Scorpio represents the psychology of other people in joint finance and shit like that. And then Sagittarius is the higher education and shit like that, religion, philosophy, and these things, you know what I'm saying, in that 9th house going into the 10th house, you know what I'm saying? Now, the last quadrant would be 10, 11, and 12, which would be social expression. So you got the 10th house, the Capricorn, you know what I'm saying? Of course, we already know that this relating to the midheaven of the career, the public persona, the how you're viewed outside. Then you got Aquarius, which is literally like, okay, the public outreach, doing things in big communities and things with people and shit like that. And then the Pisces, which is about, you know what I'm saying, spirituality, but also, giving back. How do you give back? If Aries is like, I'm here and you're going to Taurus and it's not I necessarily I take, but I have, but Aries, I'm here, the baby, you know how a baby is. Like you try taking a Taurus something from a baby, they don't learn to share, but now Pisces is the adult where you're wise and you give. So with that being said, with this sun being in this, you got a wise energy to you. But we was going, to the moon, but I just said that. But yeah, so that's a way to break that aspect down. But Pete, yep. And with it being in a weaker opposition, of course, you loved your mom. Of course, your mom loved you and shit like that. But there's definitely probably some lack of affection there. You know what I'm saying? Saturn being in the fourth house, and Saturn being retrograde, and you internalize that shit. That shit, you know what I'm saying? With Saturn being in retrograde, you internalize that fear aspect. And Saturn in Pisces is a fear, where it's basically like, having a structure in a place where it's illusion is supposed to be. And then it's in the house of structure, you know what I'm saying? With that being in the fourth house, which is Capricorn energy. So now you got double Capricorn energy and retrograde Capricorn energy, motherfucking, fucking sextiling, sextiling some Capricorn energy. Sextiling some energy in Capricorn. So this Saturn was, and then it's conjunct the moon. Like, so this Saturn dealt with a lot of the brunt of all these planets. But with that Chiron in a weaker opposition, a lot of the wounds and heals may stem from the mother or the childhood upbringing. Like I said, maybe and then Chiron being in Libra, Libra is an air sign. Like maybe she was an emotionally detached person to a certain extent. It's a weaker. So if this was a tighter one, then I would maybe be saying maybe you were emotionally abused. But like I said, it's a weaker. And to each his own. Maybe you felt like you was to a certain extent. Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah. So with that being said, and then with this being conjunct Saturn, again, this is a weaker conjunction, but still, nonetheless, it's conjunct Saturn. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you internalize that emotion. Now, Pete, this is what I was kind of getting at earlier. You see how this fourth house, this childhood, this emotion, and it's like I'm feeling like on me. I'm feeling my chest. Like this is really some chilling and shit, bro. And I was like, I'm feeling it on my chest, and I'm talking about it, but it's just like, bro, like with the Mars squaring Saturn and with the Jupiter squaring Saturn, like I said, what is Mars? Actions. And then what is Sagittarius? That's Jupiter energy. So Jupiter is at home here, but also too, this is people forcing beliefs on you. This right here in the first house, and you took that to heart because that was a part of yourself. It's like others forcing their beliefs, and this is like spirituality, and that's another reason why with this being into the Pisces, you know what I'm saying, I feel like other than the sun being in Scorpio, they're going deeper into the occult because that Scorpio, that Pisces energy will also be the occult in my opinion, you know what I'm saying, because what is spirituality other than the occult? But the Pisces energy is like, what is the occult other than spirituality? Hey, occult is just what's hidden. But yeah, bro, so motherfuckers' beliefs about what they felt was the shit, was higher education or whatever, and other shit like forced upon you, bro. Forced upon this Saturn. And then with this motherfucking sextiling, you had creative and expansive ideas. You probably was one of them kids that saw certain shit and recommended certain shit in other people because of what they felt. They probably shut your shit down. So that caused you to emotionally go within. And now you got this in a trine. So like I'm saying, it's not always, because look, now you got this in a trine. Yeah, this is in a trine, and a trine is a beneficial aspect, but what all this feeding into this pattern? You got Saturn in how many different aspects? Square, motherfucking conjunction, you know what I'm saying? Like motherfucking sextile and shit like that. So yeah, bro, it's like you took that shit on. Also, with your moon being in the fourth house, which rules the childhood, the upbringing, but I guess that will also rule the past. And then with your moon in Pisces, I definitely believe that your spiritual lineage that probably was on this shit, like your ancestors, that, because you gotta think about it, like, yeah, we own this now, But we had some ancestors that was on this, like, you know, as above, so below, as within, as without. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, ain't nothing new up under the sun. So we ain't the first people in our blood. And if our bloodline originate and go back to original people, then how could we be the first people in our bloodline to do this? But I definitely think, and I think you said like your sister, right? Like your sister is on this spirituality, and then she a Pisces. So it's like, that's interesting, you know what I'm saying, with your moon being in Pisces though. But I definitely feel like the spiritual aspect definitely come from your mother's lineage. And then also with that Chiron and Libra, that not only rules the mother, but we can talk about Chiron being in Libra, just being in Libra in general, and the fact that Libra again, and then you got Libra in the 11th house. So that's big time. And so you see how I said, like, yeah, you got the self. So it's like you see how it's just kind of like an entanglement of the self and others. And but and one of the another key point, another key thing that I want to tell you: boundaries. Boundaries. That's what the fuck I see in your chart. Setting boundaries. You know what? And also doing the emotional, getting the emotional understanding, not letting your restriction of what you feel to be restricted action, which is really just Saturn wanting you to take a little bit of time before you take your action. And what you seem to be as an internalized restriction of understanding and expansion of look and take the time and understand the emotions and deal with the wounds that will now aid you in your scope of what you want to do. And when you set more boundaries in places to where it's necessary, then in places to where you want to give, it's not all scrambled up now and taken the wrong way. Because one thing I realize about people that give, you know, that feel a certain way, or you feel you give a lot to people, is just like one of them things where it's like, you give a lot, so then you start to feel maybe unreciprocated and shit like that. But it's just like are you giving in the correct areas? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you giving to who should be being given to? You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, but with this Chiron being in Libra, and then you definitely you got Mercury in Libra at 28 degrees. You got Chiron at 7 degrees of Libra. So with that Chiron being in Libra, first off, Chiron is an asteroid. It'd be considered to be the wounded healer, where you will have struggle in life, but then, you know, of course, where you will grow on. And because going through this, you will be able to help. So that is emotional wounds of the childhood that are to be worked upon, and you will be able to help others by your emotional strength. Now, one thing I do want to say too is with the sun trining Pluto, even though you deal with emotional shit, you still deal with it in a way to where you don't let it necessarily ruin things with others that much. Like, you can get emotional, but you try to keep it to yourself. And this is what I'm saying, setting up boundaries. And also maybe, you know what I'm saying, maybe motherfucking communicate or writing down certain shit. Maybe, you know, like and that's why I feel like the music is therapeutic as far as you getting that shit out and releasing that shit. But it's like, I see that you don't want to blow up or explode. You gotta, to where you can deal with emotional change, because you do have the trine of your moon, and this is a tight trine. It's only 2 degrees off of Pluto. And remember, trine is free flowing, 120 degrees harmonious, a free, you know, into your moon. So you are with the emotional transformation. But yeah, so that Chiron being in Aries, I mean, not being in Libra, yeah, you definitely dealt with that. You definitely dealt with, again, I feel like that's betrayal. Because what is this, the 11th house? The 11th house is the house of community. So in the community front, maybe, you know what I'm saying, like, when you was younger, you probably dealt with things. And again, like we said, like trusting other people, you know what I'm saying? Trusting other people's intentions, or other people would try to lead you in a way that was, they was trying to show you something new or pass it off as something new, but it wasn't something that was necessarily best for your emotional good. And then again, with this Chiron feeding into that, you know, like we said, and then you got the Saturn squaring. You see, look, bro, just peep. We could just start at any point, but you got the Chiron, boom, the wounded heal, opposition to the moon. So this wounded healing from the friends and other people, and you know, this is opposing your mother. So maybe certain things is just like in the house, and it's in the fourth house, so your upbringing in childhood, and now that's playing off and conjuncting that Saturn. So you taking those emotional and you restricting yourself inwardly, because Saturn is in retrograde at the time. Oh, so that's feeding into that, and you see how now that's playing off of that. Now you got your Saturn conjuncted. So now you're taking these energies of inner restriction to the house of self, which is the first house, and your actions is being restricted by the inner motherfucking feelings and things that you projected from childhood wounds and things that you did deal in your past. So now that's affecting your actions. But now, because you've created an emotional attachment, because this rules the past, the home. So, you think about a home, a comfortability, you damn near built a past, your subconscious of feeding that, just to feed the turmoil. It's like sometimes you almost look for somebody subconsciously, and it's not like you going out like, oh yeah, I'm looking for somebody, but you be like, okay, yeah, I knew they were gonna let me down. And then with that energy and that sun being in Scorpio, is just like because one of the things with Scorpio and also Pluto is also that shit I was telling you. You see, this is why it's good to take notes. But with that shit in Scorpio, okay, Scorpio merging together, learn it's not that deep. You can't own people, or you can't own how they respond. Scorpios may feel they have been disempowered somehow. So that is their way to take their power back by gifts, possessions, possessiveness, sex, etc. The need to feel emotional empowerment over other people through their intention, desire to connect, emotional abandonment, internal war. So it's like one of them things where it's like, and I peep and I get it, bro. And it's like, hey, I'm not here to be no goody two shoes. You on this motherfucking learner just like we is. Because on the other end, the motherfucker gonna let you take control of them. Then you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's on them. Now, I don't advise to be, but at the end of the day, this is feeding that Saturn. Now that Saturn is in a trine, so remember, but it's still receiving these energies. So it's like, again, a trine is not necessarily a beneficial aspect or not, depending on what it's trying. But that Saturn trine in that in retrograde, fed by these energies, a restricting of the sun. But this is also the 12th house. So it's like sometimes, you could maybe use this, but it's from the feelings of betrayal. Because Scorpio in its higher sense is like, okay, getting in the mix. Like, hey y'all, fuck it. Like, how we all thinking about this shit. Like, or how we all feeling about this shit. Let's get into the water element, you know what I'm saying? And the fix, like, let's get something, and we gonna go with that. That's what the fuck we said it is. We finna go with that. We gonna work with that. Okay, the taboo, the unknown, the hidden, okay, fuck it, we with it. But at the same time, like I said, that can turn into possessiveness and controlling and, things like that, with that type of shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So, just one of the things to look out for. But yeah, bro, like I said, you got other people feelings and emotions, like I said, and that shit did something, bro. And then you can take action towards your career. You could take expansion towards your career. Like, you don't have the problem with taking expansion towards it when you build up the inner self-confidence. The Sagittarius, because Sagittarius can also be a star-like quality, but this is now in a square to that Saturn. So again, it go to that childhood, it go to that upbringing, it go through those emotional childhood rooms. And literally, bro, it's like on some real shit, bro. I do this shit, and it's like, I know we joke, we talk about shit we don't necessarily, like, we get personal and shit like that, but bro, like childhood meditations. Like, nigga, I literally had shit to where, you know, I did the childhood, the hugging yourself, and, you know, you go back to that point in time, or whatever the fuck you need to do to get over that. And this is, you know, what it was, and I don't know exactly what you have already, because this is a natal reading. It's not necessarily like a transit, or where I'm doing it like playing off the shit now. But yeah, so it's just like, you know, going to that inner self, because you do have the energy to where you can take action to heal these emotional things. And then this turns balance. And then this, you look at that Saturn and say, wait, because Saturn trine your sun, that's a more expansive worldview. And then you got it in spiritual, and you got it in occult, in, you know, shit, esoteric is spiritual element of water. So you have an expansive view on the world. It's just other people's shit that was forced upon you, and that by you not necessarily having the boundaries, because people, you got Mercury at 28 degrees of Libra in the sign, in the house of the 12th house, in the house of Pisces. So like I said, bro, you're all about helping motherfuckers. Even with your North Node in Libra, being you had a South Node in Aries, this lifetime is about, and it's for all of us, right? And this is, I see in everybody's shit, but learning to integrate the self properly amongst other people. You can't just be all other people, and can't just be all self. And you can't be self. I can't say what you can't do. It's less favorable if you're doing self in times to where others would be more benefited and vice versa. But yeah, so with this Mercury being in Libra, that's the I feel like your Mercury being in Libra, that's that shit all day, where it's just like where just the how you come to, like, you be like, when you be doing the nice shit, like I feel like that's that Mercury in Libra, you know what I'm saying? And then connecting to, you know, it's squaring your third house. So sometimes amongst, you know, interpersonal relationships and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Like that's where I feel like that nice shit. And then with that Chiron, it's like I feel like it's sometimes the overly nice, because you don't want to step on other people, sometimes how other people. But like you said, it's like sometimes, you know, when you get fed up, you know, it's like, and not to say, you know, bitch or nothing like that, not at all. You know what I'm saying? You definitely got shit, a lot of shit. You got all these in the fucking fire. That's mutable fire, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, but it's just like that's sometimes where the overcompensation for niceness will come from the sense of not wanting to step on others' toes, because Libra energy is ruled by Venus and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? But the Libra could be very passive as well, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, and then you got Scorpio in his house, in his sign ruler, you know what I'm saying? A Scorpio in the first house, that's just gonna bring transformation to your physical body in general, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I see it like, nigga, today you got black nail polish, then you cut your hair off, then you bald, then you black, you know, it's transformations, your physical appearance, and it's at the critical degree. So these transformations could be, you know what I'm saying? It could be, I'm not gonna necessarily, I mean, but you wrote death on your face, so not even fatal, but like, you know, you got the death tattoo on your face. So there you go. That's Pluto in the first house energy all fucking day. That's Sun and Scorpio energy, because what do a motherfucking consider death to be? And it's just like, that's why you appreciate Uranus and Gemini. You appreciate motherfuckers, and it's in Capricorn, but it's close to that Aquarius, you know, energy, with Aquarius being, you appreciate people who can understand and accept you for who the fuck you are. I mean, we all do, right? But you appreciate a motherfucker not just judging you and forcing their beliefs on to you. You know what I'm saying? Just like you said, you told me about it. And you was like, yeah, bro. Like, you the only one that kind of responded like that. Everybody else is like, what the fuck, blah, blah, blah. Because everybody else don't understand death like Pimp are doing, like we do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Death is something to be fucking revered, bro. We holding on to this bullshit. But yeah, okay. And then you got a stellium in Sagittarius. So I know you say you don't like Sagittariuses, but you can't let bad experiences with Sagittarius. And again, with these being all in your first house. And then, first off, before we even, because even though the Venus is at 0 degrees Sag, you got this Neptune and Pluto conjunction feeding into the moon. So you do have, and it's like, it make a lot more sense too. It's like, why, like, you know what I'm saying? You be like, just the communication is like, why it's always, like, sometimes it be like, this nigga always asking me about a bitch or some type of fucking, but it's just like with this is a strong part of your psyche and your, and us. I got Pluto and Scorpio too, so it is, but it's just like you take action about talking about it and feeling about it, like on the server, like, nigga, you fucked the bitch, and it's like, nigga, don't worry about me, bitch ass niggas come. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, with these being conjunct, you know what I'm saying? Definitely that's transformative sex, bro. Like, I feel like this is like just in itself, and your Pluto being in Scorpio higher, like this is you like sex, man. So there we go. Literally, what I'm seeing with this cluster right here, sex magic can actually help you and your restrictiveness. You find you a partner that really is going with your actions and really is with the higher expansion, and y'all engage in that aspect, and like you attract and you work on to attract them, and that's gonna feed into your moon, which is gonna play off of everything else. That's gonna help feed into your moon, which is feed into your Saturn, which is gonna help feed into your sun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely feel like, hey, find you somebody that you can have some real sex magic with. I'm dead ass serious. Like, you know what I'm saying? Setting the intention for self-care. Setting the intentions, yeah, for self-care, bro. Motherfucking self-care. But yeah, bro. Okay, yeah, okay. Neptune in a second. You may be too generous with funds, and that's one thing I can definitely say. You are very generous with funds. You are generous with funds, and I that's one thing I appreciate. But also at the same time, it's just like willing to give and to others, but at the same time, it's just like and I feel like that's some Chiron and Libra shit too, because you start to get to the Libra Scorpio energy, which is Libra is the business venture, but no, like I said, Scorpio is joint finances. So it's that 7th, 8th house type energy going over there. And then your Mercury is on it. Okay, so I think they call this the cusp of love, being the cusp of being the cusp of Libra and Virgo. But I don't know, for me, I came up and I just call this the cusp of seduction, because it's just like you adding, you got your Mercury there and your North Node there. So it's just like you're adding the energy of Libra, which is ruled by Venus, which is also attraction, attractiveness and shit like that. Then you adding that to so with that being there, and this is why, and especially that being there in that type of energy, because I was playing off of the Mercury and this is where I feel like you was talking about that Mercury. Oh yeah, because we was talking about shit fucking up. And then it's interesting because it's like, I feel like with something like this could show like some possessions may be getting even though this is an air sign. Okay, so this is air, but I mean, it's damn near in a water sign, but it is the last degree of air. So that damn near is like the motherfucking hard drive. I mean, but it could be technology being destroyed by water. I feel like that's, you know what I'm saying, or something, water happening to it, like, oh, there was spilled water. But it could be that sound like a hard drive, because the air sign thinking of thoughts, and Capricorn, and then Neptune being that illusionary energy. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. But yeah, with that Neptune being there, you know what I'm saying, money is not that important to you. And it's like, Jeremy even told us, or he told me, but I know he's talking about that disrespected money, we kind of like, but with the Capricorn being in here, that's still something that is somewhat be a desire. So you get the structure though. You can see it. You can see how it's important. Capricorn being there is also, I feel like, bringing some balance to it, because the Neptune, it's not like it's like Neptune in Pisces in the second house, because you would probably be, but now you got that Capricorn bringing that down. So you find a way, you gonna expand and make money and find value from spiritual, higher education, which you learn and shit and doing anyways. Um, but bringing those to the physical tangibility to the soil of the dirt. Remember, we said that Taurus is what's so the second house is Taurus energy, Capricorn. So you could see the structure, and then with your Uranus and Capricorn, you find new and expansive ways to do it. And think about this. And this is also a thing that's helping you try your moon. So with that Uranus energy, I feel like that's tapping into your music and shit like that too. You finding new and expansive ways to do and think about it. But the thing is, with the conjunction and what you learn and what you're doing, it's the repetition and the discipline of these things to where what I'm saying, they bear fruit. Cause also too um okay, so this is what I was saying. So with your Mercury squaring uh Uranus and Neptune, be wary of people and how you communicate your ideas. People try to throw salt and illusion on your reputation. Social media slander could be a possibility, and people may take your unorthodox approach the wrong way. And I feel like that's that motherfucker. And I know you like, yeah, nigga, I know, I already know it. I know you know, I know. That's why I do this shit. But with your Mercury squaring these two, yeah, bro, that's people throwing salt on your name. Like, you trying to help. Like, I see even sexual assault here, like a sexual assault case that wasn't really what went on. Motherfucking threw some Neptune illusion onto something that was your intention to help other motherfuckers with this 12th house energy. And the motherfucking, yeah, bro. Because the third house rules the media. So you come up with creative and expansive ways, but sometimes people, and that's where the energy of the balancing and the taking your time. See, Saturn wants you to take your time and structure yourself. So I feel a beneficial way to help these things is because you do, like, really, it's like my father said this to me our whole life. Not saying you don't, but really play certain shit out before you say it to people and watch who you saying certain things to. And knowing when to use your expansive creative ideas and reading the energy of who I can tell and teach these ideas and who not. Because with you having Jupiter here, you having these three, you definitely got some teacher in you. You know what I'm saying? You value being able to teach people, and you want to take action on being able to teach people. And actually, a part of your abundance and your luck and shit like that comes from being able to teach people a higher understanding. It's just the fact that it's not always disciplined enough. So sometimes when it's in a more disciplined way and you can ground this more into a tangible physical reality when you put it out on social media or something like that, and it's like, sometimes it's unfortunate. I know Scorpio and all this Sag energy, sometimes you want to get shit raw, but sometimes you gotta prettify some shit for a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta make some shit appear more beautiful to a motherfucker, but that's just how it is. Now, okay. I said the moon in the fourth mother's lineage was into a cult, which I agreed. I think that shit, and it probably came from some of your father's shit. Okay, now with the sun and the trine of Saturn, I feel like, because this is a weaker trine, like I said, 8 degrees separating, but it's still a trine nonetheless. I mean, a sex, yeah, no, that's a trine. You probably had a certain respect for your father growing up, or that's a positive world outlook. Maybe not necessarily so much on the father. I don't know how much of a role he played, or a father figure. You had some father figure or some somebody that you probably looked up to, and so as for some form of structure that you look up to, and you probably admired in a sense and tried to maybe try to impress. You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's where a bit of your emotional, you know what I'm saying? But you see it in movies all the time, like where the son try to impress his father and try to, but with the restriction being here, maybe that wasn't given as much. Or with the retrograde in Saturn, maybe it was given to a certain extent, but you didn't feel it was given in the way that it should have been given. You know what I'm saying? And that may have fed into certain actions that you took and certain things that you looked into, which then continue to feed into your energy being different and unique from other motherfuckers, and then they took that and they ostracized you for certain beliefs, and then it fed and went right back. And you see the cycle, bro. I see it, bro. I see it. I see it. I know you see it. I know you see it because you lived it, nigga. Okay, now, and then this pretty much, I think I pretty much talked about everything. Shit, it's dinner. We get into an hour, so I'm sure I talked about a lot. But so this peep, now peep this. You got Taurus descendant. So with your Taurus descendant, bro. Now the ascendant as what you're attracted to and what you may do or use to try to attract people, or how, and the descendant is the people in which are attracted to you and the people you may attract into your life. Now, Pete, you got a Taurus descendant, so you may tend to attract women who are more stable than you. The seventh house cusp is opposed to your Pluto, so you can attract women who are jealous and controlling and may try to use finances and sex to control you. Can we talk about the BM who was a what? Who was a motherfucking Sagittarius, where you got your motherfucking Venus in Sagittarius, and then you got your seventh house cusp opposing Pluto. So that's that trying to control through sex, through finances, through joint, through fear, through whatever she could use to try to, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro. That's nuts. Here's Jurassic Park. You heard that? Did she say Jurassic Park? It was Alexa saying something. I was like, I don't know if she said Jurassic Park or Bark or something. I'm like, what the fuck did she say? I'm trying to see if that's like a massive Jurassic Park dinosaur energy. I don't know how that relates, spirit. Okay. Maybe it's just something else. But yeah, bro. So you may attract women who are more financially you're gonna attract some women that are attractive, that are creative, that are stable and grounded. So that would be for your best benefit, is to find a grounded person to help. Like, yeah, you definitely got some fixed energies, definitely, but you got a lot of mutable energies as far as the internal and the movement, and all your inner planets is in the mutability. So fixing you and helping you ground yourself in this reality. So like I said, bro, you got the ideas, you got the communication, you got the expansiveness, and you know how to do it in a way to where you can relate to other people. It's just really your emotional wounds and things that you need to deal with that you are projecting, and that is then in turn feeding everything else and how that affects you. So with that being said, I think that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go to here. Yeah, these you know what I'm saying? So you go on this and it'll tell you, and these was, we talk about the tighter, so when they say orb, 3 degrees, so these is talking about aspects, and it's just showing you. So 0 degrees mean like it's on the same degree. It's exactly, so a square, so it's exactly 90 degrees. So this would be 91 or 89, you know what I'm saying? So, 4 degrees, so this would be, so if it's a sextile, that means it'll be 56 or 64 degrees. You get where that's going, sun, trine, so that means it's gonna be 128 or 112 degrees difference. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, and then you look into this, how you got your, so a yard is where you got planets sextiling each other, and then it's playing off of that one planet on the other end. So you got a yard with North Node and Mercury, and it's sextiling your ascendant, and then is that a square? I think it's squaring your moon, because yep, your Mercury was squaring your moon or trining. But that's like a damn near like an opposition almost. So that's like a weak opposition. But pretty much. You know what I'm saying? But you see how you got these two planets feeding it. So you got the moon and Mercury feeding into your midheaven. So yeah, Mercury and the moon, I mean Uranus and the moon feeding into your midheaven, that's definitely creative ability. And then you know your moon heaven. Yeah, bro. So it's in your chart to be using these creative and expansive, and it's in your chart to be using your fucking emotion to motherfucking uh using the emotional shit that you went through to help others. You know what I'm saying? So shit. Fire element is dominant amongst your planets. The inner, so you don't really got too much earth as far as your inner. The sun is on your rising. You know what I'm saying? Most of the inner planets, we talking about the left and sextile of farm, you know what I'm saying? Moon is in 9 aspects. Jupiter in Sagittarius and Pluto in the signs of rulership. Yeah, bro. Moon being in 9 aspects. Like, plenty shit going on with the moon. Plenty shit going on. But, yeah, bro. And of course, these, you know, but your main focus is on yourself and giving back, and however you give back. And it's not necessarily that you gotta give money to motherfuckers that's homeless and shit, no, but how you using this. But I would recommend, bro, journaling. Start writing shit down. You get downloads, write it down. Maybe if you need to practice before you speak to people in certain engagements when it comes to 12th house energy, maybe do that. You know what I'm saying? Forgiving people, letting shit go. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, bro. Letting shit go. Understanding it was all part of the path, all part of the journey. You had to experience these things to make you go within enough to get into the spirituality shit anyways. But yeah, bro, that's about it, bro. But hey, man, hey, love, bro. Shit. Hey, you got this shit. This is things you knew. I'm not telling you nothing that you ain't know. I ain't telling you nothing you ain't experienced, bro. I ain't telling you nothing that spirit ain't already told you, bro. You know it's in you, and you know the energy in which you know you create your reality, and you know how sometimes you can be addicted to feeling that, but it's time to let that go. Like that served its purpose. You know what I'm saying? It did. It served its purpose. A higher version of you is trying to be born, where you going forward in your own thoughts and your own actions, and not fucking dealing with other people's actions and other people's forms of betrayal, and how that you can't control the motherfucker no matter what type of stamp you try to put on it. And I know that's what Scorpio can do sometimes in a as a defense mechanism, because you don't want to be hurt. I mean, who the fuck want to be hurt? But at the same time, bro, it's just like, when you work on this shit, and then you will see, and you're gonna attract the motherfuckers that's not gonna. But boundaries, bro, setting up boundaries, emotional boundaries, not letting, like, you know what I'm saying. Then this Black Moon Lilith, okay, Black Moon Lilith being in so Black Moon Lilith is one of the things where it's like an energy to where you basically, if you lean too much into it, because you got a surplus of it, if you lean too much into it, it could be the downfall. Like, Lilith is the dark, the I'm not trying to say negative, because it's not negative, but it's like it's like if Eve was okay, Adam, I'll do whatever. Lilith is like, nah, nigga. Lilith is that, it's kind of a rebellious type of energy. So it's like you already have a good amount of this energy. So, you know what I'm saying, with that being in Cancer, and then in the 8th house of joint finance, of the taboo things, of the motherfucking subconscious of others, you do care for others. You do want to help take care of others, but sometimes helping to take care of others leaves you emotionally, and because you feed off of that emotion, or you have built a pattern, you've been accustomed, you've been programmed, you're programming yourself to feed off of that energy. Now when it's time for you to move forward in your own creative ventures, in your own self, and in your own self-identity, you're now having emotional baggage. So chakra work, bro. Definitely motherfucking, what I recommend, clearing out the root chakra. Maybe put a motherfucking, because the fourth house showing the crib, the sun. Nigga, maybe build a fucking replica with like rocks or something, like just like a box, like, or maybe like from wood, because Capricorn is an earth sign. So maybe I would say build you something, or fucking draw you a picture or something, like build you a box or something. Something to just remind yourself of boundaries. Remind yourself of boundaries. Understand you're supposed to go through things in your finance and all of that shit. And understand that sometimes when you try to step forward in that, you might experience some, but that ain't, you know what I'm saying? Because you do be coming up with them ideas, but like I said, it's just the discipline. And sometimes, you know, it's just like when you was trying to, that drink shit you was gonna make, and it was like, that was a great idea, but then when you found out like, oh, the shit that gotta go to it, it's like, sometimes it's like, nah, bro, it's okay. Like, I understand certain times that structure is Saturn and let you down before, but it's like, nah, see it through, put in the work. Saturn is not just there to just be hard, and I know sometimes you internalize that, and then it may block your actions sometimes, but that's there for you to work through. You know what I'm saying? That's there for you to work through. But hey, man, like I said, man, that's the end of it, because I'm gonna be talking for 3 fucking hours. But yeah, bro, I hope you enjoyed it. All right.